This is a video. It's a multiple part series. I'm going to try to put it so that you can know where to follow it along. But if you go on Facebook, sometimes they get out of order and it's a little difficult to follow. On my website, I'm going to try to load this so that it will clearly be one after another. The title of this one is called A Glimpse of Heaven. Question that I want to raise first of all to start this one is, will the new earth, when it says the new earth and the new heaven comes down in Revelations 21, will the new earth be an Edenic paradise? What does that really mean? Well, when you talk about Edenic, it means just like Eden. Will it go back to the form of the Garden of Eden? Will it include all the natural wonders, all the foretastes and glimpses of the new world? Are not clearly spelled out for us. Many are mysteries. But we do get some look at the new world and what it's going to be like. If we take literally the earth depiction of life on the new earth, it can make many times a direct connection with our current lives. We are told, without question, that we will remember in heaven all of the benefits and all the things that went on in our life. Clearly, it tells us that because we are to give an account of ourselves before Jesus. That is for sure what it tells us. Well, as we think about the new heaven or the current heaven, and we'll get into a little difference of that in another session, but I just want to give us a glimpse of heaven in this one to start out with. This isn't a dark, shadowy afterlife, but we're taking a look at a lot of the things that we can look at the light scriptures. Clearly, in Revelations, it talks about the New Jerusalem, the 12 towers, all with the name of one of the great heroes of the past. And then it talks about not only Jerusalem, but all the things that are around it. And all the kings will come in to visit Jerusalem. So what does all that mean? Well, likely this means there's a lot of natural habitats that are going to be on this new heaven and new earth. Maybe the Grand Canyon, maybe the Alps, the Amazon rainforest, the Serengeti. Or maybe we can think about taking trips and visit some of the things that we can do now without the danger. Remember what it says in Isaiah chapter 11? It says that the lion will lay down with the lamb and they will eat straw. The little boy will go into the viper's pit and not be bitten or destroyed. So we don't have to be worried about eaten by a lion if we go to the Serengeti Plain. We can catch a glimpse of heaven. Maybe a lot of things that were from Garden of Eden, but it'll be new, it'll be upgraded, it'll be clearly things that we want to see. Maybe we'll plant a garden will show God our personal touch. The millennium talks about us helping Jesus prepare the earth. So as Jesus and we helping prepare the earth, prepare heaven for the new heaven and new earth, what is it we're going to do? Do a lot of things, evidently. And the new earth may start all over. It may have a lot of the things that we want to see now. But the New Jerusalem will be a great advanced city, as we see in Revelations 21:22. And Eden wasn't just a garden of entire land of wonders. It was a lot of things other than that. It's where God was. We can see in Exodus and Ezekiel and whatever some of the foundations for Egypt. And Isaiah talks about, indeed, the Lord will comfort Zion. He will comfort all the waste places in the wilderness. He will make like Eden and his desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness be found in thanksgiving and joy of melody. I think Isaiah probably was considered the greatest prophet, arguably at least. And he's telling us that the new heaven and new earth is going to go even further than Eden. So as I study as Isaiah, I'm amazed at the new earth prophecy. And of course, Isaiah is in the Old Testament. And we see a lot of things in Isaiah about new heaven. And the next question may come, what will new nature be like? Well, we've never seen animals the way they were like before the fall. Remember, we saw that the animals existed with Adam and Eve, and the serpent came along and wasn't described as a snake. And probably Eve wasn't really afraid of it because it wasn't terrifiable. Well, as we look at some of the non-biblical literature, like C.S. Lewis and J.R. Rankin, we see some of the mythology, and they gave us a glimpse of people and trees and things that were likely they thought of as being in a new heaven. These aren't in the Bible, and I want to make sure you understand that. But there are people thinking about, well, what's it going to be like? Doesn't mean that we can't understand and try to understand the mysteries of the new heaven. But it clearly says in Revelations 22:18 through 19, we're not to change, add, or subtract anything from the scriptures. Doesn't mean we can't think about, well, what are some of the mysteries that are clearly not told? Paul talks about mysteries all the time. So when some of these other fictional artists or authors talk about the old Narnia or C.S. Lewis or some of the others talk about places that might be, well, they could be. We don't want to say that they really are, but we have a lot of things what nature's going to be like in the new heaven and the new earth. Well, one last point on this video is, what is the New Jerusalem? As we read through Revelations, we see it's both a country and a city. Hebrews talks a lot about the country. And it's a place where God and his people are going to live together. And a lot of them are called a city. One of the instances that clearly comes out but it doesn't absolutely pinpoint it and say this, is all of us who pass away or are part of the rapture, and you must go back to a video to find out what rapture is all about, come to the earth with Jesus. In Revelation 19:11, when we follow him as the angels, or the saints, excuse me, not the angels, we never become angels, follow as saints. Clearly, it talks about the fact that we're going to be here with Jesus and into this new Jerusalem. And this new Jerusalem is likely where these people, likely you and I, will come to live. Now, all of those that follow in the tribulation and the millennium and all that are likely to live outside Jerusalem in the great beyond of the earth, heaven and earth. Again, it doesn't say that for sure. I want to make sure you understand that. But let's talk about New Jerusalem a bit. It's going to be the capital city. It's the largest city any man could imagine. It gives us some exact dimensions as measured by an angel. It talks about as 12,000 stadia, or what is equivalent to 1,500 miles in length, 1,500 miles in width, and 1,500 miles in height. A metropolis in the middle of the United States like this size would stretch from the Canadian border to the Mexican border, from the Appalachian Mountains to the California border. And this makes the ground 2 million square miles, 40 times bigger than England, 15,000 times bigger than London, 10 times bigger than France or Germany, much larger than Italy or India. Now, what does it mean when it says it's 1,500 miles high? Well, think about how many stories that might be. There's some guesses of how many stories. Many hundred stories high. Depends on, of course, how tall each story is. But all those who live on the new earth will be able to travel to all parts. And this great height, if there's stories way up above, how do we get there? Well, maybe it's because it gives us a clue. Jesus, when he came back, was resurrected. Before he ascended, he could appear and disappear at a moment's notice. Maybe we will be able to do that. We are told we're going to be higher than the angels. We're not going to be an angel. So maybe that's what we're going to be able to do. Maybe we'll be able to just transform and go wherever we want, whenever we want. The great high wall around Jerusalem will be 12 gates with 12 angels at the gates. No need for security. No enemies outside. There'll be no elitism. Nobody saying that Christians are bad or downgrading Christians. So people will always have these gates to come through. They'll not be closed, and we can travel them whenever we want. Revelations 21:8 says, there'll be no deceit, no lies. Nobody in the city of Jerusalem or in its surrounding areas of this new earth, new heaven, will have problems. And Paul says in Philippians 3:20, our citizenship is in heaven. It's not here. We're going to go to heaven at some point. Hebrews 8:10 tells us that Abraham was looking forward to a city with foundation whose architects were divine by God. Huh. Isn't this what this means? Jerusalem is that city. So the city will have all the advantages of the earthly city, but none of the disadvantages. You may ask, will there be cars, transportation? I kind of doubt it. There's not going to be a lot of energy and all that kind of thing. We'll probably be able to do on our own, as I said before. But the city will be filled with national wonders, magnificent architect, thriving metropolis, no crime, no pollution, no sirens, no traffic. We'll enjoy sports, arts, music. All who wish to come to him anytime, he's going to be on his throne. And we will glory in this city forever. And that's the end of our first glimpse of heaven. We'll continue this again. Thanks for watching. Hope you like me on Facebook and subscribe to me on YouTube. In Jesus' name, amen.